Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz in Washington. Once again, it seems like on a daily basis is in DEFCON 5 over President Trump doing something. From 2 scoops of ice cream to what happened allegedly with the Russian ambassador. First of all, folks, and here's what's funny, buried in all the liberal hyperventilating about this, is the president can declassify at any moment in time anything. He's the president. He should be able to, when he's talking to somebody, be able to say, hey, we got this info on you, or we have info, or X, Y, and Z. That could be super, super classified to everybody else but him in that moment when he's doing something. So to see all the liberals contort and twist and say, oh my God, this guy did this, is funny because buried in paragraph 90 of their story says, and oh, by the way, it's perfectly legal for him to do this. Kind of like firing Jim Comey. I think at this point, Trump should rehire Comey just so the Democrats could contradict themselves for the third time. But guys, this has become a blood sport. The media has doubled down since their miserable failure. Actually, it's not a failure. They obviously wanted Hillary to win. They lied about the polls throughout the fall. They lied through their teeth. Literally on election night, they were crying about the election results. So instead of debriefing, cleaning themselves off and saying, hey, you know what, we lost our way, let's get back to being impartial, they've blown it. What's this have to do with trading? Everything, folks. The media has blood in the water. They will not let this guy go. They're going to try and get him impeached. They're going to force him to resign, whatever it is. And that means his agenda is in danger. And I don't care if you watch Comedy Central and CNBC tells you, oh, this rally's built on everything but Trump's words. They're wrong, folks. When this market wakes up to the fact that tax cuts aren't coming, or the infrastructure bill isn't coming, or the regulatory reform is going to slow down, we will implode. But again, folks, and as a guy who had a top secret clearance, SCI, special compartmented information, I get all of this. But again, the president didn't help himself out this morning because yesterday afternoon, General McMaster goes outside and says, hey, the Washington Post wasn't in the room. I was in the room. That didn't happen. Well, guess what? This morning, the president wakes up and starts tweeting about, yeah, I did, and I can do whatever I want. It's kabuki theater. The guy is starting to look Nixonian, where he's just isolated. He's just talking to Ivanka, met her, know her, love her, and Jared, met him, love him, good dude. He's looking embattled. Excuse me. It's awful. But it really is a hyperventilation out of the liberals, and not one of them is going to vote for him to work. I mean, hell, we got Bob Corker already, who's a rhino, already jumping to the other side of the aisle and jumping all over Trump. Your standard Senate rhinos already coming out of the woodwork here. So this is Washington's in an absolute mess. When I told you when Trump lost me 3 weeks ago, it's over. Well, now he lost Ann Coulter, which was the first person to actually say, hey, out of the 16 people, Trump's going to win it. Literally on this show, I think it was, what's his name, that jerk from HBO. Everybody laughed at her. She ended up being right, so they lost her. But let's talk about the markets, folks, because we have our primary live trade brief coming up here at 10 a.m. Eastern. Got a lot to talk about in that. A lot of good positions. Portfolio is looking very, very good. Finally positive, up over $8,000 year to date, and we should be good to go. So oil prices jumped to 3-week high on talk of extending production cuts. Again, we have oil moving on talks, hopes, fears. Whenever you see that stuff in the headline, oil moves, folks, because it is kind of an emotional trade. Yeah, it's a physical trade. Hey, we have a huge build in inventories or things like that, but it's also an emotional trade as well. So we'll talk about that. Bets on sudden end to market calm spiked to record highs. Oh, look at this. The VIX has a record 15 consecutive days below 11. So I put on a VXX trade a couple weeks ago that was a losing trade. I'll be the first to admit those. But look at this, folks. The VIX has never, ever traded this low for this long. I waited, and my members know this, I waited for months to put on a bullish VXX trade just because I was like, finally got to the point where I just can't take it. You have to get bullish on vol. And I was wrong. But look at this. Now people are starting to wake up here. The VXX call open interest is going through the roof. So it might have been a couple weeks early here, folks, but it is even market participants. When you look at the VIX, folks, it's pricing in literally the fact that nothing bad is going to happen at all in the least bit in the market to freak it out in the next 30 days. Literally, Jesus, Muhammad, Ganesh, and Buddha all came back to life at the same day, and they're all peace, love, and understanding is broken out. There's no North Korea. There's nothing wrong in Washington. The soft macroeconomic data, like the housing recovery, permits plunging in April, it doesn't matter. Our weak GDP, you name it, nothing's wrong. That's not the case, folks, and you have to hedge for something because something is going to happen to freak the market out soon. I don't know what it is. I said my call sign's Wiz. It ain't Nostradamus, because if it was, then I'd be able to look to the right side of this chart and figure stuff out. Again, I love chartists and technicians, folks. Anybody can point to the left side of the chart and say, see, obviously this is a reverse Fibonacci handle with a teacup, head and shoulders, triple bottom twist. What's the right side of the chart here look like, Cupcake? That's why we're at TGO. We do SOT, strategic, operational, and then we do tactical trading because we do an intel brief of everything that's going on. Yeah, we'll take a look at technicals, fundamentals, volatility, world events, operational events, and then make a decision because this is ridiculous that the market is this high and there's this much going on. We'll talk about Amazon this morning as well. 49,000% gain in Amazon stock since it opened. That thing will just keep on going up. It's buying its own airplanes to compete with FedEx and UPS. Kind of that, who is it, Rockefeller? Hey, why do I just own the oil wells when I can own the timber for and the rail and the own everything? And I think that's what Bezos is going to do, including space. We'll talk about the new AIG CEO. Dupereau says he won't break up the company. That's not going to be pleasing to those activist inventors like what's-his-face, Carl Icahn, and even Warren Buffett, I think, who wants to break the company up into threes. It'll be more profitable. Quack, quack, quack. This guy says no. So we'll talk about how that impacts our AIG position here in a little bit. Like I said, building permits and housing starts. Swing and a miss. And then let's take a look at the cap rate. Should be coming out in a couple seconds here. We'll cover this at 10 a.m. as well. All right, cap rate in line, a little bit of a beat. Industrial production, not too bad. The rest of the week, folks, hopefully Trump, I bet you can't wait to get on the airplane for this historic visit to the Middle East. Crude oil inventories on Wednesday, regular weekly unemployment claims. The Philly Fed, we saw the Empire Fed implode yesterday. The Philly Fed on Thursday, Mario Draghi's going to speak. He's the Janet Yellen overseas in Europe. And then Friday's all quiet on the Friday front. So a lot going on here, guys. Good stuff going on here at TGO. Tried to leg into an Iron Condor on SPX yesterday and getting filled on either one of them, the bear called or the bull put spread. Like I said, we'll cover that in the primary live trade brief. Didn't get filled at all, but that one's looking pretty good. The market's just at range bound here, guys. Sell in May and go away doesn't really look to be too scary this time around. So we will you have to trade the market you have, not the market you want. Not that I want a down market, but I called this yesterday, folks. It's really the MacGyver market. It's up here with a paper clip, a straw, and a rubber band, and it's anything could set this thing off. And oh yeah, don't forget, Kim came out yesterday and said we have a ballistic missile that can reach the United States, and we're still trying to verify that, said the Pentagon. Hey, idiots, how about we assume that he's not lying? Right? Just like with Hitler. I won't do this, I won't do that. Okay, let's take him at his word. Wrong. Same thing with the Iranians, the North Koreans. How about we start assuming that what our enemies say is true with how advanced or how they want to kill all of us and cut our heads off? Why don't we assume that's true and then react appropriately? Call me crazy for thinking that way, but I digress. All right, guys, I'll see many of you, all my members, in the primary live trade brief at 10 a.m. Big announcement. We're going to have our Options Weapons School. I haven't done this in a couple years. I haven't taught Options Weapons School. We've been doing our Full Throttle program. Options Weapons School is a little cheaper than our Full Throttle program. Obviously, it doesn't have as many products and services, but it's not cheaper because I teach it. It's just cheaper because it's kind of the entry to TGO. And then Doug Robertson teaches our Full Throttle, which is a little bit middle of the road to Jedi Masterish, okay? All right, I got to run. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see.